ready to learn with us on Bass University Live. Bass University Live starts now.
Welcome back to Bass University Live, everybody. Thank you for tuning in again with us on this wonderful Tuesday night. Before we dive into things, I just want to say thank you to a couple people before we get started. First of all, Jeff Olson, our man behind the scenes, the wizard behind Bass University. Thank you for that incredible open. It gets me fired up for every show that we do. And I want to say thank you to all the people that help this show keep going, support the companies that support us so that we can keep bringing this show to you. Humminbird, Minn Kota, Johnson Outdoors, we appreciate them. Great electronics, great trolling motors. Redfin, polarized optics, see clearly when you are out there on the water. And Thump Gel, get those extra bites, give your bait that pop. And Cashin Rods, of course. I was just at Cashin just a few days ago with our guest today, actually, which is John Cruz. And we're going to be talking about how to prepare for tournaments or just prepare for a day on the water. There's a lot that you can do before you actually put your boat in the water to give yourself a great way to succeed and put yourself in a position to do well while you're out there. One of those things, guys, by the way, is using Bass University, which we are launching the new platform this week on Thursday. It's happening. Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, new upgraded app, new website, the whole kit and caboodle. It's coming to you. So stay tuned. We're launching that this Thursday. But without any further ado, I'd like to welcome in today's guest, Johnny Cruz, Mr. Missile Baits. How you doing?
What's up, Rich? Good to be on here. Good to see you again. Quickly, but this is virtually. It was good to get to see my boy down there at Cashin. Yeah, how about their new facility? That was super nice, huh?
Yeah, I mean, what a great day. I mean, for a company like that, it's so cool to see. An American, an American-made brand, everything they do in-house. And we got to see that again this week while we were down there, from the blanks getting rolled to putting the guides on the rods. They do everything there, and they threw a great event. And the barbecue, John, oh my gosh, was it good? That's cool that they did that.
Yeah, man. They went out of control. Reed was up all night cooking all that barbecue, man. It was amazing. Yeah. Barbecue is good when you don't have to put any sauce on it. You take one bite, no sauce. Every bite of the chicken that I took a bite of you could taste the seasoning, you could taste the flavor. All of the barbecue, the minced barbecue was just fantastic. So hats off to them boys hosting another great event.
Yeah, great event for sure. And to do a great event like that, it takes some preparation. And today that's what we're talking about. But we're not talking about preparing for a barbecue. We're talking about preparing for a fishing tournament or preparing for a day on the water. Can you walk me through a little bit about what some of your pre-tournament routine looks like before you go to an event?
Yeah, absolutely. Over the years, I've been doing this for 25 years. Full time, traveling around the country, going to different bodies of water, getting prepared to fish and trying to do the research to where you put yourself in position to do well. And I would say that a lot of times, just like in life, you get out of it what you put into it as far as preparation goes. So when we go to a tournament, we're going to have, we got to prepare our bodies. We have to prepare all of our tackle, because a lot of times we're going to places where we don't know if there's going to be a good tackle shop to get something if we need it. So a lot of times we have to do a lot more preparation than just for like a weekend derby. But let's start simple. If you want, start simple and then kind of like go build into, what it takes on the pro circuit. But on the bottom end, I think that you have to kind of look at where you're going, look at all the different types of potential options that you might have from a seasonal standpoint, water temperature standpoint, and from a cover standpoint. So you're going to be looking, like if you're going to go to a pond or if you're going to go to the Potomac River, that's two completely different, bodies of water. So that, where are you going and what's the time of the year? So, what kind of tactics might you be using? And, that's kind of how the first couple things that I look at. A lot of people love to do research on the internet. I think that these days and times you can spend days looking at information. And a lot of times if you're not used to looking at a couple trusted sources, that you can kind of drive yourself crazy, and you end up chasing your tail looking at all this different stuff. And I think Bass U is one of the great single sources out there on the internet to be able to do that. So if you're going, let's say you're going to that Potomac River, I'm going to be going in March, just type it in, tidal river, springtime. You see what comes up, or seasonal movements on tidal rivers. Listen to a seminar or two, listen to somebody like Ike and Ellie, with somebody like Ish Monroe, talk about the tidal movement, bass fishing on tidal rivers, seasonal movements. That, to me, that is like when you talk generalities like that, and you're listening and trying to learn generalities, that makes going to these places way, way easier. The Potomac River can be very big, can seem overwhelming if you don't know kind of what you're looking for off the bat. So I think you want to start by looking general, and then as you move into it, and you're like, okay, so now I'm going to be looking for, arrowhead pads, and I'm going to be looking for shallow docks. Now kind of the range and the scope of the lures that you might be using in those types of places. Okay, so the fish might be spawning or pre-spawning. I'm probably going to be throwing a lot of Texas rigs, maybe some wacky rigs, maybe some weightless stickworms, Senkos and stuff, chatterbaits, and shallow running crankbaits. So once you kind of know the locations you're going to be and the types of cover that they're going to be going after, then you can kind of start narrowing down, looking at the different those different lures. In my opinion, fishermen spend way, way, way too much time worrying about the exact color that a lure is, when I think that is like the fourth most important thing that you even look at when you're selecting a lure. The color is just not that important. Action is far and away the number one thing. Size of your lure is also very important and way overlooked. And then, you can debate whether it's probably color, scent, smell, in that next range of categories. But yeah, your action and your size are hands down the two most important things. So you want to make sure you're in that right action and the right size category for what's working at that point in time on those types of fisheries. So that's kind of like the first thing is generally fishing. But for somebody like me that's been fishing full time, I've been all over the place. I've seen all kind of different bodies of water. The preparation thing is different. There's a lot of that type of seasonal movements on a bunch of different types of fisheries. That is just like pre-programmed in my head. So typically I'm going to places that I've not been to, or I haven't been to but a handful of times. And then that's when I start looking around. Now we've got Google Earth. We've got all these satellite images that we can kind of look through and find out things. I might want to look at internet reports to find out if we're going to a place that has grass. I want to know where the best grass is on the lake, because that's where the biggest population of fish is going to be. For years and years, that was really a kind of a key ingredient for Toledo Bend Reservoir, because it's a big body of water, doesn't always have good grass everywhere. You could say the same thing about the Potomac River. Wherever the healthiest grass beds are, somewhere in that vicinity, might be a mile away, might be 5 miles, somewhere in that vicinity is going to be the biggest group of fish on the river. Wherever the healthiest grass is, that's just where they're going to be. And that is useful information to know as far as the location. But when a lot of people are like, man, give me a couple waypoints. Man, waypoints are trash, dude. People got to get out of that mindset of there's not a secret lure, there's not a secret waypoint or exact fishing location that's going to be the end all be all. That just doesn't exist. And you need to get that out of your head that there's there's a singular lure and a singular location that's just like magic. That doesn't work like that. I mean, there might be one tournament that you could name, like, oh yeah, what about this one tournament where a guy had the secret lure, or this one dude had this secret spot that nobody else found and he just blew the tournament away, or had an amazing day because he had this one secret spot or one spot nobody else was fishing. That is just so rare that, man, you're just wasting a lot of time if you're going after that. To me, the whole preparation is, I want to narrow down where I'm going to be fishing on the body of water based on seasonal time periods and the habitat, aka cover or grass, that kind of stuff. Right. That is to me the biggest benefit. So if I can narrow it down to like a couple areas, smaller areas, or even bigger areas, but just a couple areas, now I'm in the right areas. Now I need to take out all the different possible lures that I could be using, make sure I have everything that I think might be working in those types of those types of cover areas and those areas. Yeah. Then I'm going to go, all right, one by one, Texas rig. I'm going to have a lightweight. I'm going to have a heavyweight. I might have 2 different weightless baits. I might have a necker. What other finesse tactics can I throw? Maybe a drop shot. Is drop shot going to be something? Am I going to go with an 1/8 ounce weight or a 3/8 ounce weight, depending on how deep I'm going? Make sure I have that kind of stuff. All right, chatterbait. What color might be good? If it's in this early spring, I'm going to probably have some red, orange, and a white one. And then, later in the year, I might go more bluegill colors. So, a lot of that, once you start narrowing that down, then you start lining up all your lure options. Then you take all those lure options, you plug it into those areas. Now you find out, what are they doing right now? Like, what are those fish eating at that moment? So you just kind of start broad with the general time of year, location, and then try to narrow it down to certain locations. Then within those certain locations, narrow it down to all the possible lure options. And then you go out there and figure out, what do the fish want that particular day? Right. And you'll have so much more success doing it that way, keeping it broad, not looking for like that, silver bullet or that, secret lure that's just going to be the end all be all. You're going to have so much more success out there on the water.
So I want to give you a hypothetical here, John. And let's say, for the sake of the conversation, I want to say that you have a 3-day practice period before an event, just like you would have on an Elite Series tournament. And in the rare instance on the Elites that you're going to a body of water that you've never been to, because you've been fishing for a long time, so you've seen a lot of bodies of water. You've seen a lot of bodies of water over the years, and I imagine they would change. But let's say that you have a 3-day practice period and you're going to a body of water you've never been to, but you did get a lot of research done before going. Mm-hmm. You have a pretty good game plan going into your practice period. How long are you going to investigate what your research told you should be looking for and it not work before making the decision, okay, this isn't working, I need to try some other things, I need to think outside the box?
That's a really tough question, and I do want to say that the way everybody approaches practice is different. Like, 2 very successful anglers could approach practice in different ways. So when
Okay.
I tell you what I do and what kind of my theory on that, that's what works for me. And
Right.
that's what I'm comfortable with, which may not be the same for Lee Livesey or Caleb Sumrall or Brian Schmidt. You know, it
Right.
could be different for all those guys.
Sure.
But what works for me, a lot of times has to do with not spreading myself too thin, but you do need to cover different areas so that you can sample different areas to make sure that you're not in like a, total crap zone, or,
Right.
or you're missing where all the best vegetation is. So like, even though you might do some internet research, if you don't cover some water, you might miss something that's massive. You might miss something that's really big. If I've got 3 days, I might, and I've done this before on Okeechobee quite a bit. I've done this on the St. John's. I've done it on some other bodies of water, is that I take that first day and I ride. The first day of practice, I'm riding and looking for where the watercolor might be, what I want to find, or it might be where the cover is that I can find. Like Okeechobee, clear water is a huge, huge deal. A lot of other bodies of water, finding the right watercolor is very important, and find the right, like I mentioned it earlier, grass. If you find the area that has the most healthy grass, I promise you that will have a huge population of bass. It's going to. I've seen a few exceptions where you find like, a big cove of hydrilla or something, and they're just not in it very good. But that's good. That's not a big enough section to like hold habitat, if that makes sense.
Right.
One stretch of some good habitat is not going to hold a population of fish.
Right.
We're talking about, a big creek arm, half a mile of grass. Holy smokes. If I'm on the Potomac River, I find a half a mile of milfoil, sure, I'm going to spend some time on it, buddy. I'm going to tell you that. Like if I find a 50-yard stretch of milfoil, I might fish it a couple of times, but I'm not going to be married to it because that may not be a big enough patch to hold a population.
Right.
But if you find a big population, you need to maneuver around in there and find out how they're utilizing it, because I promise you there's going to be a population there. So a lot of times I'll cover some water, but you don't want to spread yourself too thin. Like if you on certain bodies of water, you don't want to put in. I don't like putting in on like 30 miles one way and then 30 miles the other way. Because if you catch decent amount of fish in both places, you can't fish both of those areas in one day.
Right.
It's just impossible. Like, so you're spreading yourself too thin. And then what do you do on the third day? And then maybe you fish in between, and then you end up kind of just running around, kind of chasing your tail without getting an idea. And, I've had conversations with other pro anglers. Bill Lowen and I've had good conversations about this. We talk about sampling areas. A lot of times we don't know exactly what we're on because we just sample areas. Like we might go into a creek and we're going to sample for 20 minutes on one bank, go to another bank for 20 minutes, another bank for 20 minutes, fish it for an hour. You're out. You're going somewhere else. Maybe you got 6 bites in there. And you're like, man, I don't think this is very good. But then maybe you go to 3 other creeks and you don't get any bites. And then you go to another creek, you get 1, go another creek, you get 1. And then all of a sudden you're like, man, that creek back there that I got 6 bites in, I didn't think that was much, but now I'm thinking that there's more in there than I realized. That's really, really like the juice that you're looking for, is once you sample around either within a big area or a whole stretch, a big stretch, you'll hopefully have 1 or 2 of those areas. You're like, man, there's a little wad of them here and there's a little wad of them there. My buddy Brian Schmidt, he likes to call it a shot. He's like, boy, there's a shot of fish over in that creek and there's a little shot of fish over there in that bay, over here, over there. So that's because we always joke about that. So yeah, that's kind of how I like to approach it as far as that 3-day practice period. And then try to look for those little areas that have a little something different, and still keep an open mind on what it's going to take to get those fish to bite.
So I want to ask you about a specific tournament. Now you're back in the Classic this year.
Yeah,
super stoked to see you there. Love the Classics at Knoxville. They're always fun. How are you preparing at this point for this year's Bassmaster Classic? Have you started yet? Is it on your mind? What's going on?
So that we had a Classic there before we had an Elite there. I did not make that that Classic that was on in Knoxville before.
Yep.
But I watched it. I watched it very close. I think that's going to be more similar to what you're going to see at this Classic. You know, Ott Defoe won that Classic, kind of had a multi-prong approach. Jacob Wheeler came in second, not that far behind. So that was kind of our only reference going into our first Elite Series event.
Right.
That we had there. I fished that Elite Series event. I had a top 10. And fishing was kind of tough because it was February and they weren't really moved up yet. They were still really in winter patterns. They were still kind of hard to find. There was still a lot of bait still out deep, not a lot of fish on them. Guys were still scoping at that point, but not they were just hard to pinpoint out there. And what I found is I had like two areas that had some bait fish, and I felt like had a shot of fish in each one of those areas. There was bait fish in other areas, but in my sampling, I had two areas that I just had the confidence in, and I bounced in between those two areas to have that top 10. I think I was in like 8th or something going in the last day, and I tried something just to try to have a bigger bag and make a run, but it didn't work, so I ended up finishing 10th. But that's what you got to do. You got to put yourself in position on that last day before you can make a shot at it. But that's kind of what I did last time we were there, knowing that we're going to be probably more in line with what we were like before. That's kind of more of what I'm thinking. I think there's going to be more fish moving up. A lot of what's going to happen at Knoxville is going to depend on the rain, and it's going to depend on kind of the water flow going through Fort Loudon, because that's the very upper end of the Tennessee River system. You've got Tellico as well. I think Tellico could play in this one. It's I guess the canal there is wide open this year because Gussie didn't make the Classic this year. So Gussie's honey hole is going to be free game for anybody that wants to run down there and try what he was doing. But I would imagine every local for the last 2 years has just been absolutely trouncing that area and fishing it the way he's done it. And I'm going to let them guys have it. So they're going to do that. I'm going to try everything but that. That's kind of my theory. I think sometimes when you look at things and you know what your strong suit is, that is not my strong suit. So I'm not going to waste a minute even doing what Gussie did to win the last couple of events that have been there, because I know that a lot of locals have done it. I know that there's going to be a handful of guys in our tournament that are going to go do that, and they are way better at that than I am. So they can stay out there, they can have it. I'm going to go do other stuff, more of what I'm good at, and try to dial that bite in, because I think that's how this Classic is got a good chance to be won.
So how much are you paying attention to the weather patterns and the water level and the water clarity? How much are you paying attention to that leading up to an event like this?
It depends on the time of year and the situation as to how closely that I will watch the weather beforehand. If I'm fishing a tournament in Florida in the wintertime, January, February, even into March, man, I'm watching it about 6 to 8 weeks before the tournament. I'm watching it every week, just looking for the weather patterns. When are the cold fronts coming in? How warm has it been leading up to it? Because that will dictate a lot. Like, we could do a whole show just about Florida fishing in the wintertime and how the weather patterns dictate exactly what they're going to be doing. But this Classic, I'll be paying attention and I'll be watching. We're going to have a winter. Cold fronts in the middle part of the country, Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Maryland, Oklahoma, whatever. That middle part of the country, the cold fronts in the spring, March, whatever, they don't affect the fish near as much as they do other times of the year. Summertime, believe it or not, can really mess with the fish with a cold front. The fall, the first real couple cold fronts in the fall can just absolutely stifle the bite. So this in the springtime, not near as much. Those fish are on a path towards finding that territory where they're going to spawn. They are not going to be skewed and swayed too much from a cold front. Believe it or not, once that water temperature gets into the upper 40s and the lower 50s, man, they're going. They're going. I'm not saying they're spawning. I'm saying they're going in that direction. They're going to be in there. A little cold front is not going to hurt them as much. So I'm going to be watching, but more or less I'm watching to kind of see generally what the water temperatures are going to be. If the water temperatures are in the mid 40s, that's a big difference than if they're in the low 50s or in the mid 50s even.
Do you have any ways of being able to monitor the water temperature at a place like the Fort Loudon Tellico?
In 2025, that most popular lakes that have any kind of popular boats will have some kind of website that'll tell you the current water levels. Like at Smith Mountain Lake, the guys here in the shop, they love to look at it because there's a website that'll tell them the water temperature in like 2 or 3 different locations. Ooh. And one of those, I think 1 or 2 of those locations has the water temperature like 10 or 20 feet deep of what that water temperature is too. So there's a lot of resources out there now that you can tell you these water temperatures. I mean, you can look in the general vicinity of a lake and be within a few degrees of probably what it's going to be. So there's a lot of resources out there now that you can kind of get an idea, and that's important. And I mean, but if you've got 5 nights into the 30s and the highs are in the 40s, it's going to be low or drop. Like I promise you. But then on the flip side, if you've got some nights to where the low, let's say in March, you got the lows in the 50s and the highs are in the 70s. It's going to be going up. I promise you, it's going to be going up. So you can kind of, see the projection, and that'll dictate a little bit whether you might have to go back more to your winter patterns or kind of stay on the spring move patterns.
So we've talked a lot about your preparation and the process that pertains to actually catching fish.
Yeah.
I want to know, and again, I'm going to ask you specifically about the Classic. How do you, for an event like that, mentally prepare yourself for what is to come? Because at the Classic, it's not like a regular event where you just show up 3 straight days of practice and go. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in between. How do you mentally prepare yourself for an event like that?
This is going to be my 14th Classic,
right?
This year, and I talked to a number of guys that had a lot of experience before I fished my first Classic and second Classic and so on. And, Ike and Ellie was one that I talked to a good bit. We were rooming together at the time. He gave me some amazing insight on what I needed to do, what I needed to be prepared for. I've done that for other anglers that have fished the Classic and try to help them know what they're getting themselves into. There's a lot of distractions at the Classic from, because not every tournament you're going to have, 15 of your friends, close friends, and a big group of your family at during the week of the tournament.
Right.
And so what ends up happening is you have to balance your time and be respectful and appreciate and enjoy all those people that are there to see you, enjoy them. But then also make sure you have your time to kind of mentally get in your zone, get in your realm, and make sure you, if you can get 6 hours of sleep each night at the Classic, you're doing good.
Talking about your, finding your zone. You've been fishing professionally, John, for a long time, and I know your travel groups have, evolved and changed over that period of time. But talk a little bit about that, of like how, how do you find your zone? Like, what does that look like for you?
Good roommates can really help you get in the zone, because you guys are gonna keep your conversations about what it's going to take to get bit and catch the biggest bags you can catch, period. It's not, if you have the right roommates, it's not about, hey, what point are you fishing? Or, could you show me that stretch of docks that you caught those fish on in practice? Like, dude, it ain't about that. That's not, It's not what it is. You're like, man, I was fishing docks, but the deal was you threw in there, you had to let it sit. And then after a few seconds, like just give it a quick hop. And that's when they would bite it. Like that's the stuff that makes a difference. It's just not about like, oh, well, is it a black and blue jig or is it a black and blue jig? Of course it's a black and blue jig. But you need to, was it a 3/8 or was it a half? Because that might be a difference maker. You might get twice as many bites with one versus the other, depending on time of year, what the fish are keying on, that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that really makes a difference is, rate of fall of your bait. How did you work that bait? What depth do you think that those fish were on? What do you think that the fish were hanging on around, the stuff that you were catching those fish on? And now I'm telling you, even with the forward facing sonar, that's the biggest thing that people miss with forward facing sonar. And like, oh, you're just throwing at dots on the screen, that you're still triggering those fish to bite. What were you doing to trigger those fish to bite? Was it a jerk bait? Was it a minnow? All right, what is it? What size was the minnow? Was it a 3-inch minnow? Was it an 8-inch minnow? Was it a 16th ounce head or was it a 3/8 ounce head? Like what size? Like what weight? Where did you put that thing? How many did you have to throw at before you caught each one? Were they big groups? Were they small groups? Were they related to bait? Were they not related to bait? There's so much more to the forward-facing sonar situation. It is so much like fishing the bank without forward-facing sonar that people that don't do it don't have any idea. I mean, just I just thought that the whole Tucker Smith thing this year with him winning that Ultimate Angler Championship with no forward-facing sonar and putting a beat down on those boys without it. Everybody was calling him like, he's like poster boy for a scoper, right? Well, yeah, without the scope, he goes and beats their brains in, because that just shows you he is using the forward-facing sonar and then figuring out exactly what the best thing is to get those fish to bite. He did the same thing. I loved reading the write-up in the interview after that tournament. He just dialed in exactly what it took to get those bigger ones to bite. And he figured out those locations by using his side imaging, and then he figured out exactly what it took to get those bigger ones to bite. The way he had to use that 3/4 ounce jig, hop it off the bottom. I mean, he dialed it in, and that's the secret ingredient to hold to big blue trophies.
Absolutely. So the way I see it, John, is that we're going to be celebrating after the Classic. It's going to be a great event. Aside from that, for the rest of this year, for the rest of the Elite Series schedule this year, is there one that really jumps off the page for you that you're really looking forward to?
I think Guntersville is going to be a lot of fun. With or without scope, that thing is going to be, wide open. A lot of guys were talking about, we would have just blown away the records if we could have scoped there. That would have been kind of cool, but I think there's a lot of guys that would much rather have the scope at Lake Martin than at Guntersville. So, I love rivers. I have to pick a river here. The Arkansas River is very tricky. That is one that I'm, it's going to be, I'm a little apprehensive about it. The Tin Tom Waterway, we've got 3 different pools to fish, and with 100 boats, I think, given the time of year, I think a lot of guys are going to run up to up to that lake that you can fish on the very top end of where we're able to go. I think a lot of guys are going to go there because it's going to be sight fishing and whatever. I think we'll spread out very well. I think that will be a really fun event, provided we don't have any stupid floods or anything like that. The 10 Tom has potential to be like a underrated badass tournament. That would be cool.
Yeah, from a viewer's perspective, I'm excited about that one too. You caught me, you tricked me though when you said the river. I thought you were going to say Albemarle Sound, just being that it's relatively close to you. But
that's the only time I ever fished it was the Elite Series that we fished there. And that's the only time I've ever been there, and I'm not going to go back over there and pre-fish it. I don't think there's any point. It's a massive body of water,
right?
And again, I've just I circle a couple places. That's all I'm going to practice. That's all I'm going to have time to practice. And I don't know that going down there and spending a whole bunch of time is really going to benefit me, because you can smash them almost everywhere there. Like there is a nice population of fish and there's a lot of dead water, but there's a nice population of fish in a lot of areas. I mean, there's some areas where there's 5+ miles of milfoil fields, like 2 to 5 feet of milfoil, just fields of it, fields and fields and fields of it, multiple areas like that, multiple. It's so like that place has got a stupid population of fish.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be there at a time where we can really, really showcase that more. That will be it. I mean, those last 3 tournaments are all going to be smash fest. Last four, 5. I mean, Murray, Santee, Albemarle Sound, Champlain, even with no scope, and then St. Lawrence. It's going to be they're going to be hammer after hammer.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to rooting you on again
buddy.
This year. We're looking forward to having you in the classroom again with us in Anderson, South Carolina. Guys, tickets are available for that right now. So head over to thebashuniversity.com. You can buy your tickets to see a lineup of great instructors, including Johnny. And thank you for coming on here with me today, John. It's always a pleasure. It was great hanging out with you at Cashin. And
yeah, man. Let's give the peeps a preview. We're gonna decode bass behavior. If you liked kind of what we were talking about today, I'm gonna zero in on bass behavior as far as seasonal patterns, things that they do, things that I've learned since we've had the scope, and then the other one is the foolproof flipping tactics. I love flipping. It's a lot of fun. There are a lot of little intricacies within flipping that people absolutely overlook. That's what we're going to talk about in that class. It's going to be a lot of fun, Rich.
Yep. Awesome, man. We're definitely looking forward to it. We love flipping at Bass University, and there's no better guy to teach about it than you. So Johnny, thank you. And we will see you again very soon.
Thanks, Riz. See you, buddy.
All right. See you. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back from somewhere pretty cool, maybe down there in the region of Alabama. College fishing team, the Dean, is on site somewhere, so we're gonna come right back with the Dean down in Alabama. But before that, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
We're off the clock to clock more fish, to fill our live wells and empty our coolers, because there's more to explore. The latest Humminbird fish finders work fast, see clearly, and know all the best spots. They fish even smarter paired with the Minn Kota, and break down the water like never before. If you like your plans loose and lines tight, then it's time to explore. Only with Humminbird. Get right to the fight. New Mega Live 2 forward-facing sonar puts you on more fish with an ultra-clear, rock-solid picture of underwater action. Next-gen clarity, next-level fun. Only with Humminbird.
Do you love bass fishing? Then you have to check out Bass University.
Access over 1,000 bass fishing seminars and episodes.
Get discounts on the tackle from your favorite tackle brand.
Learn the latest techniques from the top pros.
And never stop learning.
And never stop learning. And never, ever stop learning. Welcome to the Bass University.
Welcome to Bass University.
Welcome to Bass University.
Welcome to the Bass University.
Welcome to Bass University.
A challenge. The original Element rods were really Cashin's first launch, kind of at a price point level. With that, we got a lot of feedback.
And that's what brought about the Element Z2 in its launch. The most affordable American-made rod on the market.
Mother Nature may be tough. I'm tougher. I'll take you where chaos is the cost of entry and where the fish are worth the fight. Because the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
All right. Welcome back to Bass University Live. Let's bring in the dean. Where are we at, Pete?
Welcome, everybody. Let me get my shot fixed here, man. What a crazy circumstance. I find myself here on the University of Montevallo's campus with the champs from University of Montevallo and the individual champ that just is, it's just amazing that I find myself here. We came and checked out the campus. What an amazing fishing school. And here we are. So a lot of you guys know Brooks Parker. He's been with us many times before, Bass University guy, and is a senior at Montevallo this year and had a great tournament. We're down here at the Logan Parks Insane tournament. I got to remember all this stuff. And it was a great event. Jake participated in it. A lot of you guys saw that on social media. But this is the champ from the tournament, the individual champ, Dalton Head. He won flat out by not much. How much?
0.12.
0.12 over second place in this tournament. That's a tremendous win, and and it's the nature of Lake Martin, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just full of cookie cutter fish.
All the same size. It's hard to separate yourself out there for sure.
Well, you did, and you did that nicely. So did you, Brooks. You finished in the championship round in what, 15th place?
Something like that.
Something like that. That was very, very good. Jake, for those that you were following, he finished in 39th place, and he was paired up with a Landers University kid, Trent, and those two guys did really well. They had such a tremendous first and part of their second period, and kind of faltered in their second period and got caught by guys like this.
Yeah,
and I got bullied out of that championship round, but we had a blast. Shout out to Logan Parks, man. What a cool and spectacular event that he puts on for the kids, for the high school and the college kids. And thank you. We're cutting into Dave Mercer's interview time because Dalton's going on the Mercer podcast next. But I want to give a lot of love to Mercer. He did an amazing hype up video for Jake. Rich, I know you saw it, and you know, I don't think Jake slept since that video came out.
Yeah, he's on fire. Well, real quick before we let Dalton go, I mean, I want to know how did you separate yourself, man? What's the deal? Was there something to it?
Yes, sir. There was a lot of strategy. We knew that we really needed to catch them in the first round, and that was like a really big hill to get over because so many fish were moving in the morning, and it was kind of hit or miss whether you were going to catch them. Mm-hmm. So knowing that we had limited time, we still went fishing. We didn't be like the fish are going to be right here. We have to catch them right here. We still moved around, and that's what happened in that first period. We found the best hole I've ever found on that lake. I found at least 500 fish just laying on the bottom, stationary, not even moving. And we could just cast in there and catch them every cast. And so that's what kind of set us up for success in the first and second period. But the third period was the biggest hill to get over for sure.
Right.
Because like all the fish there's a huge population of fish in that 2.25, 2.5. So like when you start catching those, it's real hard to separate yourself. But you know, we eventually separated ourselves when it came down to the last 10 minutes, and I culled one last time with 3 minutes to go, and that's what won the tournament.
That's crazy. That's crazy good. Yeah. Talk about the 50 fish, 500 fish.
Oh yeah, the big school.
Yeah, the big school. You said they were on the bottom, like, because I was invested in this, right? We found Jake had found schools of fish on bait. He had found schools of fish that were floaters, little wolf packs. Talk to me about what were they doing? How deep were they? And like, were they on a point? Were they in a ditch? What kind of place were they on?
It was a ditch, and there was like a point that kind of ran in there. It was a really, really subtle ditch that had a hard spot about the size of this room. And all those fish just congregated on the hard spot, and whatever couldn't fit on the hard spot was sitting on the bottom of the ditch. So we kind of just set up on them, and we're just firing out there. We didn't even have to use scope.
No kidding. Wow.
Didn't even have to use it.
Well, what were the tools?
We're using my brand new jig head, my Ghost jig head with Queen Tackle. Me, Jeff Queen, and KJ Queen. We all spent a lot of time designing that jig head, and it's called the Ghost jig head, and it's meant to not reflect as much light as other jig heads, and everybody throwing a silver jig head and just an unnatural looking, and we were throwing it, and it seemed to make that big difference.
It's funny. I ordered all sizes of those coming into this tournament.
Yeah.
I got a tip from your cohort over here that was the deal.
Yeah.
And we got Jake rigged all up from 16th ounce all the way up to 1 ounce.
Yeah, I brought a huge box of Ghost heads to it was like the draft day. Yeah. And within, I'd say 30 minutes, with the help of some of my teammates, we completely sold out of Ghost jig heads, and I probably had 30, 40 packs.
Wow.
Completely gone.
Well, it's cool that you mentioned it, Riz, because the reflection that we was talking about, these are like flat black. They have like texture.
Yeah, it's like a matte black, and the hook is not a real shiny hook. So whenever that bait's rolling and stuff like that, they can key in just on the bait, and I feel like it makes a big difference. And that's really what it matters in fishing, is if you truly believe it makes a big difference, you already got the confidence and it's going to work for you.
All right, so what's the plastic you're hanging on that thing?
I was throwing a Cast 275 Echo. It's not necessarily new, but it's a super small bait, like real tiny bait. And I noticed that in practice. You know, Martin is really known for having really small thread fin, and I've fished there for a really long time. So I thought that was the best presentation for me, that real small bait.
How small is it?
275.
275.
Almost 3 inches.
Man, that's a little bitty thing.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was making a difference. For sure.
And what was the weight on the jig head?
I was throwing a 3/8. These fish were sitting in at max 26 foot. They kind of roaming just a tad bit around 20 to 26 foot.
So, and you were you scoping them, or were you just throwing to the structure?
To find them, I've scoped them. Yeah, but I mean, you could literally just cast and you let it hit the bottom, you have one.
Wow.
It was fun. It was special. We definitely could tell it was special.
It was. You were telling me a story before about the first period, because Rich, this is real complex deal. They got a first period, second period, and third period, and it's every fish counts in the first and second periods. You unloaded on them in the first period.
Yeah, that was the plan. We were like really wanting to catch them in that first period, and when we got up to mid 20s to 30 pounds, we were like, okay, we're doing our job. And then we went in the second period, caught an extra 10 more pounds. We were like, well, we're probably not going to win the round, but we can go practice. We know we're going to make the championship round. So we went practicing for the last 20, 30 minutes.
What did you practice?
Just looking at specific structure and docks and stuff like that, checking areas that I thought fish would be, or where I saw them in practice. And I went there and looked, and making sure there was fish there, and making sure it'd be worth my time to pull up on some of the places.
That's great. You see your time. Let me throw it to you, Brooks, real quick, because you were I talked to you a little bit. You weren't on a giant school.
No.
You did it a little differently.
I found several giant schools, but the unfortunate part about it was there were obviously other people found those schools too, because I could not get those fish to bite, no matter how hard I tried.
I heard a lot of guys saying that they got tough,
and that had me frustrated. And I was thinking, like, recently around here on the Tennessee River and the Coosa, I've been catching a lot of fish off of stumps. So I just did what I've done everywhere else. Just went stump fishing. Stumps anywhere from 20 feet to the ones I could see them with my eyes.
Okay.
And just throwing a minnow and a drop shot at them. And those fish, if they seen it, 9 times out of 10 they was gonna bite. There was a lot more space in between fish catches than like what he was doing. Just being, there's only a limited amount of fish on the stumps, and you got to go find each individual stump. But I had so much more confidence in myself doing that because every stump that I could see fish on, they bit.
Wow. Well, that was great. Well, you separated yourself greatly and crushed it, like 15th place out of a 200-man field, which is exceptional. Where did you qualify? You were in the top 10 or
first?
Oh, you qualified in first place.
No, qualified into the championship.
Yeah.
I went in at 4th. I think I went in at 4th or 5th because I dropped after I went practicing for a little while. Yeah.
I'm thinking of this because you just mentioned it, how tough they got to get the bite. The guy that got the first round draft pick, which smashed him at practice, they didn't make the championship round. They didn't make the consolation round.
That's what happens when you beat the crap out of your fish.
It's pressure, 100%. And that's why I think that school moved to where it was, 100%. I really do. There was 5 boats in that one spot I started in, and I was the furthest boat back, and I kind of just blocked everybody.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the fish were swimming under my boat. I was kind of weird. I figured they'd be swimming out towards the lake.
Yeah.
And kind of just went back there and found them.
Wow.
It was just one of those things.
Well, it was interesting because, we were all terrified of these guys, man. Because Riz, at practice, they encourage you to catch fish because the more fish you catch at practice, the higher you are in the draft for the high school and college. So it really puts you in an awkward spot. Like, do I work my fish out and catch them a little bit, or do I hold back and risk getting a low draft? So a lot of strategy going on there.
Yeah, you just go catch them all out of middle ditch and then don't fish it.
Exactly. And so, all right. So did your strategy change? Like, it sounds to me, and did you do like a Brook strategy in the final round where you went isolated target fishing, or how did you get those bigger fish?
Yeah, I definitely went and fished isolated targets, and I was fishing really just isolated fish in general. I was very, very meticulous about the fish I was casting at. I wasn't casting at anything that I thought was under 2 pounds, which sometimes you can't really tell because how shallow they are and whatnot. But I was definitely picking out the fish I was casting at. I tried to cover as much water as I could.
Okay. You mentioned you were 3/8 ounce head. I want to go back. Does that come in a 2-aught? Were you downside because you were using such a small bait? Were you 2-aught or 3-aught?
I was using a 3-aught. Our 3-aught is like a 2-aught.
Okay.
It's a short shank, but it's pretty strong.
Okay. Because those what are they? Ghost heads. They have many different aught sizes. So if you're using those big 6-inch minnows, that you got a bigger size for that. Yeah. And here at Martin, you wanted that on the smaller side of things.
Yeah.
Were you continuing to use that bait during the final round?
Kind of so. I kind of mixed in some other things like a jig, like a smaller finesse jig and stuff like that, and Nico, fishing a Nico a lot.
Okay. Oh, a Nico, no kidding.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, did you guys catch a lot in that final round, or was it slower because you were changing your strategy?
To an extent, I feel like I still caught a decent amount. I know one of my guys, Brody Robinson, he goes here, and he qualified into the championship round on the bank. He fished the bank the whole time.
No kidding.
Qualified in the championship round on the bank.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, Rich, this place is so full of bass. I mean, there's a million spotted bass on this hole. Actually, I don't know if I told you, but with the dock that we were staying on, I was out there, shooting a video for Bass U, and there's bluegills under there, and then a wolf pack of 2.5 and a 4-pound spot came up and started like sharking these bluegills right under the dock that I was standing on. So they were from that deep all the way down. I mean, at practice, Jake saw them as deep as 70 feet,
Oh, yeah.
And and there's just millions and millions of fish out here. It's a crazy lake. And man, you guys both did fantastic. And man, Montevallo wins again. The team. What's the secret sauce? How are you guys doing this?
I think the biggest thing is, we say it all the time, is iron sharpens iron. Everybody here can catch them. And with that being said, that just drives you to beat some of your buddies,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. These are really, honestly, it's no joke. These are some of the best anglers in the world, around the world. It's crazy. It's the techniques and just the decision making you're watching freshmen make, you're watching sophomores make. It's incredible watching it.
There was such a big team. I could see a tendency to get competitive with each other and hold back, or does that go on? Do you guys share? Do you guys have little niches inside of the groups, or how does that work?
That's what I say. Everybody's got, so we fish obviously in pairs, teams, and then there's probably, most of us got, 4 or 5 other boats that we work with a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely grouped up. We're definitely just little groups. It's like these 4 guys or 3 teams work together, as in 2, you know what I mean? And that's kind of just what it is. It works out good for us.
It's clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly, and we're going to go out and look at this, Rich, but there's 80 stalls out in the boat yard. It's just a big team. It's the most dominant team in college fishing in recent times. And I'm going to take you guys on a tour of that. We might lose Dalton. I don't know. We got to keep our eye on because Mercer's got to interview him next. So we want to make sure we let you go when we have to. But Jake had a question along the lines of what we were just talking about. Is Jake is advancing in his scope every day. He's getting better and better. Learned so much from practicing with you, Brooks. Some new strategies, different ways on the settings, different techniques on triggering strikes, especially on these spots, which we don't get to fish for that much. So he's learning and growing all the time. But he wanted to know what's the best way to learn? How did you guys get so good? And what do you recommend for a high schooler to do? Should he just a lot of time on it? Should he what should he be doing?
Yeah, copious amount of time. Just you can't spend too much time. It's an instrument to learn on. That everything you ever guessed about, like when you're fishing without scope and stuff like that, you see what fish truly do, the true nature of bass, like how they move, how they eat, what weather does to them. It's a great tool, and it'll teach you more than anything else will.
Yeah,
100%.
What about the settings, Brooks? I interviewed you. You're using a different color palette. Do you just go out there and just all right, let me shoot a school of fish. Let me try different settings. Let me try to mess with the game. How do you manage that?
The only thing that I really mess with throughout the day is game. It seems like if the water is dirtier or the lake's turning over or there's a lot more, sediment, leaves and stuff in the water, typically I have to back the gain off a little bit to 68, high 60s. And if the water's fairly clear like it was in Martin, I got it on low 70, 71, 72, 73, something like that. But I don't know. A lot of it's just, you just go out there and mess with it and whatever looks the best. You throw your bait out there right in front of the boat and whatever gets that loud enough, or whatever settings you think makes your bait ping loud enough that works for you, and then you can still see the fish, and structure and all that. Whatever looks the best.
Yeah. And I know you have a 16-inch Garmin that you're using.
Yes, sir.
What are you using?
12-inch.
12-inch.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a Garmin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the knob unit, the 1222.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I have the 14 or 12, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit on the smaller side. Mm-hmm. What about your settings? What are you doing?
Well, I ramp mine up pretty hard. I run 77 to 73 on my gain. That's everywhere I go. But I just change color palette more than anything.
What are your top go-to palettes?
Lava, blue, and green. That's probably my 3. If you can't see your stuff in those 3, then you probably can't see nothing at all.
Okay. Well, Brooks you were talking about there's 2 palettes that have 2 colors.
Well, the blue and the lava.
The blue and the lava. Okay.
And the blue, I'm real comfortable using the blue because it shows the hard stuff is red.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that helps you differentiate a bass to like a catfish or the trash fish.
Yeah.
Being for whatever reason, they don't ping nearly as hard as a bass.
No kidding.
They're a lot more fuzzy looking and stuff. Whereas and then obviously you can tell like the bottom if it's hard or not. It shows up as a lot redder, or if it's softer, it'll show up a lot bluer. Stuff like that.
That's awesome. Well, it's great stuff. Riz, I'm going to take us on a quick tour.
Okay.
Is there anything I missed? Is there anything?
No.
We dove in deep with these guys. Before we do that, favorite thing about being here as a college student at University of Montevallo?
Like the fishing aspect, the fishing
side?
Whatever. Well, I like the fishing side. So, honestly, for me, it's the amount of people that you get to be around and learn from. Like, I'll never get to experience this again in my life, is being able to get around 60-plus guys and learn off of them. Like, they might not think I learn off of them, but I really do. I pay attention to everybody, and I know that everybody's got their own little deals, and it's just a great learning experience here to be around that many good anglers at once.
That's awesome. How about you, Brooks?
I would have to agree. I mean, there's almost 80 guys on our team, and there's not 2 of them that fish exactly the same way, and it works for them. And picking up the best things about whoever whether you're talking to them or just fishing with them, just picking up like the best thing about what he does different than you, and applying that to how you normally did it when a bunch of different techniques, and that has definitely grown my strength on a lot of things tremendously.
I thought they were going to say like the girls or the party scene here at Montevallo.
All about fish.
You gotta go down the road. You gotta go down the road to Tuscaloosa for that.
Tuscaloosa, is that University of Alabama?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Fishermen
Auburn's a little further down. What's that, Riz?
Fishermen always find the fish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let's. I want you guys to brag, and I'm gonna try to do this because we're kind of in selfie mode. But let's take a walk. I want you guys to come over here, and Riz, this is the trophy case, and my gosh, tell me what you guys have here. Like, look, what are these 4 big trophies?
These are all School of the Year trophies that us as a team have won, and over like grueling seasons, just real tight, just point race, and this is what we get at the end of the year after all our hard work.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and we have 2 national championship trophies MLF, another national championship trophy from ACA, and those right there are Team of the Year in bracket. I mean, that's got it.
He don't want to brag on himself, but he won that. Him and his partner won that one and that one.
No kidding. Well, man, what year are you?
Super senior, 5th.
5th year senior. Look at these. These are the championship rings that you guys get every time
we win a School of the Year or a MLF School of the Year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have how many?
I have 6.
6.
I've been here.
Yeah. And
I have 5.
And you have 5 rings. You guys are absolutely crushing it. It's truly amazing. And I want to do a quick tour here because this is just one of the trophy cases. They've got a lot of trophies on the wall in the form of antlers, as you can see, because this is an outdoors program here at Montevallo, and you can see all the. This is I mean, I'm looking at this. This is kind of like a fishing lodge. This is a hangout. Is that what you guys call this?
They call it the lodge.
They call it the lodge. Mm-hmm. And how cool is that? And you guys can just sit here and hang out, do homework, or talk about lakes.
Yeah, dude, it's really cool. It's grown since I've been here. It didn't always look like this. It's gotten nicer and nicer and filling up more and more.
Wow.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get another one soon.
You guys have outgrown this for sure. So what we're going to do is, if you guys can hang with me for a little, what time we got? You guys have an idea?
11:30.
It's all you good still for a little bit?
Yeah, I'm good for another 10-15 minutes.
Okay, let's take a walk outside.
All right, yeah.
I want to and come with me, guys, as we're gonna walk outside and show you the infamous boatyard here at Montevallo. And this is when I first pulled in here yesterday. I was blown away at the facilities that you have here for the guys, and here's where a lot of the magic goes down. And we've talked about the a lot of other Montevallo super champion anglers, and the boatyard is also a place where it goes down, and you could see all the various it's covered. We've got I don't know, what do you got, 80 slips out here or so? This is the university team. Everybody's got a slip. They keep their boat here, work on your gear, talk to each other, strategize, learn how to fix stuff.
Yeah, that's a big part of this.
Do you have one of those? Like when I was in a club, we always had the guy. Like he was our go-to that could fix anything.
I feel like everybody's a little bit mechanical.
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like you got to be if you're on the road as much as we are. Something's gonna break down.
Yep. Yeah, it does, and you got to be a part-time mechanic in this business.
Oh yeah.
So it's really tremendous, and of course, in here is. And tell me about this because this was intriguing to me as we walk in here. This is the meeting room.
Yep. Yeah, this is where we'll be on meeting.
And this to me is really interesting. This is just kind of a pavilion here, and not much going on here except for this is where you get your work done. And tell me what happens. What you guys meet weekly here?
Pretty much, just about every Tuesday.
Okay. And what do you talk about? Travel plans or fishing plans, or
what's
what?
The bulk of it? It's where we're going, who's going where, what time we need to be there. Stuff like that. When to sign up. That just, of course, the Bassmaster and MLF sign-ups for the spring semester just happened, and that was what we've been talking about for the last several meetings. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, all right, I got to add, you two you're a fifth-year senior, super senior. You're a senior. What's next?
Well, I mean, hopefully I'm gonna fish the opens next year with this opens I just got from the Logan Parks deal. So
you got your entries, all 9 entries covered. Is that right?
I think it's all 9. I'm not sure. I think it might just be first part of the division.
Gotcha. Still pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna help a lot, especially me. So
that's so. Congratulations on that.
Appreciate it. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, because you won $30,000 for the team.
Yeah.
And you split that with your partner.
Split it with my partner, and then we won the top 4 Montevallo guys, and the opens.
Wow, that's exciting. Brooks, I know you've been talking about it. What's next for you?
I think I'm gonna go home and work for a year, make some money, and then hit the road with.
Okay.
And jump in the opens.
You're going to redshirt the opens next year.
Yeah, that's probably that's a good analogy. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, exciting, man. Yeah, you guys are both outstanding anglers, and look to see how you guys do out there. It's an exciting time. The format is split now. I think it's 4 tournaments, and then you qualify for the last 3. And exciting. And you got your entries covered. Man, what a deal. What a deal. So let me switch hands here, guys. I will also, before I go, I just want to thank you guys. I appreciate the tour.
Yeah.
And spending some time with us at Bash U. I
always
appreciate
love doing these things. Just I like it for sure.
That's great.
Yeah, well, thank you for pulling up here and
Yeah.
putting us out there.
Glad to do it. And Brooks, I know you've been. We were talking about Drew Gill's Bash University seminar
With the Nico rig.
Oh, yeah. And what it's so awesome to get that feedback that guys are using this stuff, and we've got the greatest anglers in the world teaching it, and Drew Gill, he separates himself. He talked differently about how he uses his forward facing.
Oh yeah.
But thank you guys for that. And guys, check it out. Riz, it's coming. Thursday's the launch. Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick. We're going to be on everything's upgraded on all our apps, whether you're an Android or you're an iOS Apple user. Downloads, some great new winners content, winner circle content coming all to Bash University. So get yourself subscribed and signed up, and get into the winner circle with these guys do. So it's awesome, man. Here in Alabama. I hope to come home soon, Rich. I'm not sure you're getting me back.
Yeah, well, if you're going to be down there, hopefully these guys take you fishing while you're going to be down there for a little while.
We might do that. What's the Lake Jordan we're talking?
It's about halfway between here and where you're staying.
Okay.
There's giant spots in there too. It takes over 20 to win.
Giant spots at Lake Jordan. That sounds like my future, Riz.
That sounds like a good future. We'll hold down the fort till you get back, Pete.
I appreciate you and everybody at Bash U, and thanks everybody for watching. And we'll be back next week with another edition of Bash U Live. And get that new app. It's coming. Roku TV. I know you guys been asking for it. Downloads. It's all upgraded at Bash U, so get yourself signed up. And Riz, I'll see you back at the office.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy.
Boys. Good job. All right, guys. Just to close things out here, got a couple more things to hit on. This week's release at Bash University is Gerald Swindle's Power, Finesse, Strategies. You're definitely going to want to check that one out. And like we said a couple times on the show, Thursday is the big launch for the new program. The user-friendly features, the accessibility. We are catapulting into the year 2025. You can find us on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, all kinds of new ways to access the program. So definitely want to check that out. And our subscriber of the week is Ken Chu up there in the great north, rocking the Bash U AFCO hoodie. Great bass, Ken. And as always, catch us next week for another edition of Bash University Live. Thanks for watching.